Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, Christy. I can hear you.
Okay, good. How are
This is
you?
Megan Longo. I'm one of the counselors at Laurel
Yeah.
Springs.
Yes. Good
How's
to
it
see
going?
you. It's good. Let me see if I'm able to share.
Does it say at the top you're in a practice session? Or is that just me?
I
It
don't
says
see
start
that.
it, and then there's like a start webinar button at the top. I'm not going to press it because I don't know why it thinks I'm in a practice session, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Okay.
Um, but it's not allowing me to share my screen. Are you able to give me access?
Let me see. Okay, wait. Multiples. Okay, try that now. I changed the settings
Okay, yes.
so you can
Um,
share, I think.
Let me do this window. Okay, perfect. And then right now you can just see like the main PowerPoint, not like my notes pages or anything, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Hey,
Yep,
Heidi.
you're good to go. Hello, sorry. I had
No,
to
you're
hop
good.
out of a meeting to come. Yeah. Here we are
Grace.
though.
Here we are.
It's gonna be
I
So,
just gave
great.
Christy share access. So I don't know if I just gave everyone share access or just
That's
Christy.
fine. No, I think
Okay.
just because it's a webinar, I think you're fine.
Okay.
So it'll be all right.
and then my colleague Mary, I think just registered. Her name is Mary Rice, if you happen to see her. She is the Accelerate advisor. So she doesn't
Okay.
really advise your students, but she registers your students
Yeah,
for
we
you.
can. Do you want me to? I can, once we start it, I can go ahead and get her, I can elevate her to a panelist if you want.
Okay. Yeah, that would be fine. So she can speak and
Yeah,
talk
that
to
way
you.
she can answer questions or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I think we are recording, so that is great. Um, yeah.
Awesome.
And I
I have
will
a
go. Do
student
you want me
in,
to, do you want me, Christy, to kind of tee it up when we get started and just like introduce you and
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome.
Yep.
Patrick, were you gonna say something?
oh, just I was talking to a student in China a few hours ago who was very happy to know that we were recording this so that she
Oh,
did not have to be up at 2 a.m. to see this
yeah.
webinar.
Awesome. Christy, you said her name is Ashley, right?
No, Mary Rice.
Mary, I don't know where I came up with Ashley, so that's great. I haven't been sleeping much, so all right, cool. Awesome. I think it is 2:01, so let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and get it started.
That's great. You'll
All
just tell me when
right,
to go.
here we go. Start webinar. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining us. We will get started in just a minute, just giving everybody a chance to get settled. Appreciate you joining us today to hear more about our Baylor Accelerate program for dual enrollment at Laurel Springs. So we will get started in just a second. Appreciate y'all being here on this fabulous Wednesday afternoon. All right, I think we've got pretty much everybody in. It looks like our numbers have stabilized a little, so we will go ahead and get started just so that we stay on track and on time and make sure that we are respecting everybody's time. So my name is Heidi McClure. I'm the Dean of Counseling here at Laurel Springs, and we are super excited today to be joined by Christy, who is our partner at Baylor to support with the Accelerate program. So I will turn it over to Christy, and she's going to share a little bit about Baylor, and then we'll talk a little bit about the end, about next steps with Laurel Springs, and kind of how to move forward from here. So, without further ado, take it away, Christy.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be with you all this afternoon. I get to get the privilege of working with Baylor's Accelerate program. Laurel Springs has been with us since the very beginning of our program, so it's been exciting to see the program grow and develop over the last many semesters now, really. So to begin my presentation, I wanted to speak a little bit about the benefits of doing dual enrollment. So I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm going to start with the risks of doing dual enrollment. So the first, you can see here on this slide, it's important for students to always know that dual enrollment grades are part of a student's permanent college record. So if you aren't successful, it might, reflect poorly on your college application. So I just want to encourage everyone to feel like that you are prepared and ready to do a dual enrollment course. Probably a big difference between some of the courses that you have right now and Baylor options are just the fast-paced nature of the courses. And so just want you to be aware of that. And just as well as if a student chooses not to attend Baylor, those courses aren't always guaranteed to transfer. We do have several tools, which I can put into the chat here in a moment, and making sure that some of the courses that you might enroll in will transfer to the other universities that you are looking at attending in the future. So that's just something to keep in mind. Most of the classes that we have at this point are pretty transferable. They are very kind of more general education courses. And so, but I always just want to kind of put that warning out there so that you do your homework and make sure that they will transfer to whatever college you hope to attend. And so, and then of course, there's so many benefits of doing Accelerate or any kind of dual enrollment course. I feel like there's various reasons also. One way to approach dual enrollment is just kind of an exploratory approach. This is a great time to take classes in various majors to see if you would like that kind of intro course prior to jumping into that field of study. Baylor Accelerate Baylor Accelerate has courses in like sociology, language, various things like that, so that and business as well, so that you can kind of look at those classes and say, okay, is this something that I have a really interest in? And those might be good areas to explore later on. Taking Accelerate courses also opens up new course options that maybe Laurel Springs might not offer in other cases. And then also by getting college credit completed while in high school, this may really free up time later on for you to add a minor maybe, or just to lower the number of hours that you have to take like your first or second semester in college. So these are all great benefits of taking Baylor Accelerate. You will come away with a transcript from Baylor. So Baylor is a private Christian research university, and we do have an international reputation. So it will be very valuable as you apply to other elite institutions, and can be beneficial when you go through the application process, especially if you do really well on those classes. So this slide just gives a little taste of what a past Accelerate student has talked about, or has said about Accelerate and just their experience. We find that students really do enjoy the classes. They really enjoy just the connection they have with their faculty. And so I feel like this is just a good testament to what you might experience. This is our spring listing here, and so you can see what our computer program. We do not have computer programming, so I apologize for that mistake. But you can see we have a good amount of options coming up this spring. That top one, software applications for business. This is a great course for any student, not just a business major, but it is focused on Excel and making business decisions using the Excel application. We also have courses in like speech and mass communication, journalism. We have a research writing course, which is our English 1310. kind of a unique history course that is topical based. This U.S. history from a global perspective is topically. And actually, hopefully, I've got Mary Rice on this call right now. Mary, if you are able to, you might be able to tell them if you have an idea of what that topic is or the several topics that we might have included for this course. I don't know off the top of my head, but we also have classes in calculus, museum studies, sociology. We have Spanish 1 and French 2 offered because it's a sequence in that French class. They did 1 in the fall and now 2 in the spring. And then we have statistics and theater also offered. So
Hi, Christy. I
yeah,
was just
Mary,
going to
yes.
jump in. The History 1300 topic for our specific section that we have for our spring semester is fascism in the global Americas. That's the specific topic. What all that entails right now, I don't know. I haven't received the syllabus for that course yet. But that is the topic, just to kind of give you an idea. It's fascism in the global Americas.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you for jumping in, Mary. I knew you would know the answer
Yeah.
to that question. Do you have anything to add to any of these classes, Mary?
I think you covered them really well. Yeah,
Okay.
the only thing is we don't have the computer programming courses, but everything else are great options. So, yeah.
Awesome. And then my next slide actually is just kind of a taste of what's offered in the summer. You can see our summer offerings are much more robust than like our fall and spring offerings. And that's just because Baylor is still a very traditional school and most of our classes are offered in person. But in the summers, we tend to go online more. And this just allows our students to travel, go back home, have internships and so forth. And so we go more online so that they can do maybe an online class while they've got their other summer plans. So we do have a large options coming up this summer. We don't have them quite ready to share with everyone, but this is kind of a really good taste of all those different options. And as an Accelerate student, if you join us in the spring, if you're interested in the summer, you would just reach out to me and let me know if you want to continue to take a class in the summer. We don't have a formal partnership at this time with Laurel Springs, so you would pay Baylor's tuition. You would pay the tuition directly to Baylor versus going through Laurel Springs. That might change in future summers, but as of right now, that's how it goes. If there's any changes coming up, we will certainly let you know. But these are, you can see there are a lot of options if you've got some time this summer. We do have a summer 1 and a summer 2. So basically think of it as a June session and a July session, much more condensed. You take them in about 5 weeks, whereas the spring classes is more of a traditional term, which is about 16 weeks. I do want to point out one thing about our Accelerate classes this spring that is a little different for Laurel Springs students. When you go onto the Accelerate website, there'll be a chart of all of these classes, and then it'll also show the delivery method. And we use the term asynchronous, which is a little bit different than what Laurel Springs students sometimes think of asynchronous. For us at Baylor, asynchronous means more of not live instruction. However, it is not self-paced in nature. So while you're not having to be there at a certain day or a time throughout the week or each day, you will watch the lectures online, but your faculty member, depending on how they set up the course, they will kind of roll out the course at their own pace. So instead of being student paced, it is faculty paced. And so you will still have you'll have assignments that are due maybe on a weekly basis. You'll have quizzes that they require of you at their pace at their certain times and so forth. So I just want to call your attention to that because that can be confusing because I know asynchronous to many Laurel Springs students means more of a self-paced nature of the class. So I also wanted to spend a little bit of time just sharing about Accelerate to Baylor. We have this admissions challenge to earn early admission to Baylor. If you would like to take 9 hours or 12 hours and earn a 3.25 GPA, students can earn early admission to Baylor based on just their Accelerate performance on how you do. So we will be changing these tracks starting this next year. So this is our final school year to have this it during the throughout the school year. We would just focus these 9 hours and 12 hours in the summer terms. So you could do it kind of a quick accelerated option where you would do your senior track just the summer before your senior year, where you would have to do 9 hours. So that would be about 3 classes and earn a 3.25. Or you can do the junior track, which would give you 2 semesters to get your 12 hours done. So essentially, you would have 4 summer terms. You would have summer 1, summer 2, the summer before your junior year, and summer 1 and summer 2, the summer before your senior year to get those 12 hours or 4 classes, because most of our classes are worth 3 hours of college credit. So if you do either one of those tracks, either the senior track, the 1 summer, or the junior track, 2 summers, then you could potentially earn conditional admission to Baylor. And then that would make you feel confident going into your senior year, knowing that you earned that 3.25 GPA and could be admitted to the university. So it's just really helpful, especially for those of you who are really interested in attending Baylor and want to kind of get that confidence and that you would be admitted. I know about a year ago, last summer, we'd about 90 of those 90 students attempt the 9 hours. And I'm sorry, 90 students attempted the 9 hours, and only about 7 of those did not make the GPA. So it is definitely doable in the summer to earn that early admission. You just have to make sure that you have the bandwidth, that meaning that you have the capacity to really focus on that many courses at one time in the summer because they are so fast-paced and condensed. But just know that average Accelerate GPA in the past has been about a 3.4 GPA, so it is definitely doable. While I always want to caution students to take on that too much, as long as you feel confident about that and you've got the capacity, it is definitely doable. So I think these next couple of slides, oh no, I'm sorry. Yes. Megan, did you want to take over from here?
Oh, I actually think I'm going to take over. So, in terms of the dual enrollment program at Laurel Springs, we talked a little bit about course availability for the spring. So really your enrollment timeline starts now. We have kind of time for counselors to have conversations with with their counselors, and if you're a student is a junior or a senior in the core program or a 9th through 12th grader in the academy program, definitely talk to your counselor about whether a dual enrollment course is going to be the right fit for them for this spring. Our timeline for Baylor is now through, I believe, Christy, it's December 16th,
Yes.
early
Yes,
December.
yes.
But I would say the sooner that you can have a conversation with your counselor, the better. I would encourage you to look online. We have all of on our homepage under the academics and under dual enrollment, you'll find our dual enrollment guide. And we can put that in the chat in just a minute as well. But that guide is going to have kind of a list of all of the policies in terms of like what prerequisites you have to have, the grades that you need to have, just to give you a heads up in terms of whether you may be eligible for this prior to having a conversation with your counselor. So what you're going to do is kind of check on those pieces. Again, yep. If you're a full-time student in grade 11 through 12, in our traditional program, or an academy student in grade 9 through 12, looking at those academic criteria as well as the timelines, it'll have a list as well of the courses that are available for you to take through Baylor. And we've got a link to their website on there too to see those. But definitely have a conversation. The first step is really going to be to have a conversation with your counselor to make sure that that's going to be a good fit for you. And then after you have that conversation with your counselor, if you want to go to the next slide, actually, I think it's on the next slide. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I lied. If you once you have a conversation with your counselor, they will send you the next steps in terms of enrolling, and part of that will be completing the application on Baylor's website if you have not yet taken an Accelerate course with them. So starting with your counselor is going to be the best place to go, determining which courses are going to be right for you. If you haven't already paid or hadn't already secured your enrollment for next semester, you're going to want to do that. So that way your counselor can help add that to your schedule after we've kind of gone through those preliminary steps. So that's kind of a brief overview. Again, like with the Baylor, and as we'll hear next week with the Syracuse dual enrollment courses as well, those are able to count towards your course minimum. So that 4 credits that you have to take to be a full-time student with Laurel Springs, they can count toward those courses. So as you are planning for the spring with your counselor, definitely talk to them about that. Most of the courses do, as Christy mentioned, they're 3 credit hours, which will count for a single credit hour for Laurel Springs. So please check out the dual enrollments reference guide. And then our policies are going to be in the handbook that's on the portal as well. And so I think that is Patrick or Megan, anything I forgot?
I don't think so. I dropped the program guide in the chat, so there's a lot of good information all in one place on there. But I think you pretty much got it covered.
Beautiful. So I think we can move the next slide, I believe, is moving into questions. I did see a question about a minimum amount of classes to take. So with Laurel Springs, in addition to your Baylor course, you'd need to take at least 3 courses with us and your seminar course. So if you're taking a Baylor course, it'd be that Baylor course plus 3 Laurel Springs courses plus a seminar, your seminar course. And then, yep, there is a maximum. And as a reminder, part of your tuition, if you are an academy student, your tuition includes 2 dual enrollment courses per year. As a traditional Laurel Springs course student, your tuition includes 1 dual enrollment course per year.
And I'll jump in just for those of you who are returning to Accelerate, you've already participated maybe in previous years, or maybe currently you're in Accelerate through Baylor. If you have done it in previous years, just reach out to me and I'll just make sure that you have the correct, once you settle everything with your Laurel Springs counselor and they give you the go ahead to get registered at Baylor, reach out to me directly and I will make sure that you get the correct. We have another form to kind of reactivate your student account if you've already been part of it before. If you're currently with us this fall and want to continue, once you settle everything, you get the green light from your counselor, just again, reach out to me and we can just enroll you right there. We don't have to have you go through the Baylor enrollment form. So it's a little bit easier. You don't have to apply multiple times.
Awesome. And I see another question about the deadline to enroll. So if you're talking about like enrolling with Laurel Springs, I would say you would need to be enrolled with Laurel Springs for the spring semester prior to us being able to add that dual enrollment course. So make sure that you secure that enrollment as soon as possible. And then we always say the sooner that we can kind of start the next steps for your participation in our dual enrollment courses, the better. So as soon as you have an inkling that maybe this is something that your kiddo or you are interested in, reach out to your counselor and set up a time to speak with them just to make sure that you're eligible and talk about next steps. We really would love to see them apply before the beginning of December to make sure that everything is kind of in the clear and good to go prior to when we close for the winter break. So
I would also say another point of urgency is just we do have limited seats in these courses. So in order to ensure that you do have a spot, you'd want to. We'll do what we can to accommodate any of those last minute people, but like you said, if you could make those decisions, get with your counselor. There are so many steps that needed to be done
Yeah.
before,
And certainly kind of especially if there's a course where you're really, really stoked about it and really passionate about it and you definitely want to take it, the sooner we can get you a seat in that class, the better. I'm using my solid teacher wait time here. I always sing a song in my head just because that gives me, it's like the Jeopardy theme song. I always sing it in my head to make sure I give people enough time. But do feel free if you have questions, you can throw them in the chat. As I said, you can throw them in Q&A. If you're kicking yourself after this because you realize you didn't ask a question, reach out to your counselor. And if they don't know the answer, we can always connect with Christy Tuda or Mary to make sure that we're getting the answers to your questions and we're able to provide any support that you need in this process. And I will say in terms of like signing up for dual enrollment, this is as easy as I have ever seen it, just being able to work with your counselor and then kind of go, get the information on next steps. So our counselors are great at helping students navigate this process. So the finals, what do finals look like for software applications for the business spring course?
Mary, do you have a way to answer that?
Want me to take that one? From previous semesters, it has been more of like a project final of everything you've learned throughout the semester. These are the different skills. So then your final is kind of going through the different formulas, the different functions that you've learned in Excel. So it's kind of showing what you've learned throughout the whole semester on one final project. That's how it's been previously in fall, spring semesters.
Awesome. Then we have another question about psychology for credit. I don't believe it's offered this spring. I know we have sociology, and I didn't see it on the summer courses either.
It is typically offered in summer.
Oh, beautiful. Look at
Yes.
that.
Yes, so it would be an option for summer if Laurel Springs students wanted to join in the summer. But we do have sociology during the spring semester. Unfortunately, psychology had been offered previously, but it is no longer offered in fall, spring semesters.
Awesome. And then there is a question in the Q&A, how do I sign up for the courses? Basically, the first step is going to be to review those eligibility criteria in the dual enrollment guide and then reach out to your counselor, set up an appointment with them to chat about what courses you want to take and ensure that you're eligible, and they will support you with those next steps. Oh, great question. So another question that just came in was thinking about these courses versus AP courses. What are the pros and cons of one versus the other? And Christy, I don't know if you want, I'm happy to provide my 2 cents on this, but
You can do your 2 cents and then I could jump in.
okay. So my thinking is twofold, right? Like when you're looking at college applications, colleges will appreciate the rigor of a college level course, whether it is a dual enrollment or an AP course. So in that sense, you're going to get kind of the same impact for rigor. However, the nice thing about dual enrollment, in my opinion, as a student who doesn't particularly love to take tests, is that my college credit in a dual enrollment course is dependent on how I do across an entire semester and an entire semester's worth of, a body of work, as opposed to an AP test where you take it the whole year and then whether or not you earn that credit is based on how you do on the AP test. So not only do you have to find a place to take the AP test, you have to take the AP test and do well. And so some colleges will use that for placement. Some will use it to, allow you to like get credit for courses, kind of depends from college to college. So in terms of like credits going into college, some schools will take dual enrollment courses, some won't. As Christy mentioned earlier, it really is up to the individual college on whether or not they accept the credits from different institutions. Because Baylor is a really well-known institution, a lot of colleges will honor and accept credit for, some general courses, but depends on kind of where they fall into. So I would say that's kind of either way, you're taking a rigorous course. The nice thing about the Baylor courses as well, I think, is you're taking it from a college professor. And so you really have that experience and you can lean into that in your college applications. But in terms of kind of the impact on your college applications, you have that increased rigor. And it really kind of comes down to how the credit transfers and what that looks like.
Yeah, I would also say the difference between, I think, dual enrollment courses just prepare you a little bit more for a typical college course, whereas AP tends to really teach to the test. And I have just heard from both AP teachers as well as college faculty that, students might not, it's a lot of memorize and dump, whereas, some of the dual enrollment courses are college courses taught by college faculty. And so they really know about how to get students to be writing on a college level and collegiate level and those kind of things. Um, so these are semester long courses, I think.
Yeah, so I think the question is more for dual enrollment, it's only one semester, but you earn a full high school credit. And then you also, whether or not the college that you go to accepts the credit, or like if you do the accelerate to Baylor and you end up at Baylor and they will award the credit for that. But for Laurel Springs purposes, we will award one credit for the semester long Baylor course that's passed. And then it does factor into your high school GPA. It is a course that's going to go on your high school transcript, but as Christy mentioned, it also goes on your college transcript. So it's super important that as you sign up for these courses, it's something that you are aware of and understanding and knowledgeable about the fact that like that is going to be kind of the start of your college transcript. Yeah. So it is on the transcript still. Is there a way to learn more about the software applications for business spring course?
We could share a syllabus, Mary, right? Like I think I
Yeah,
have.
yeah, for Parker specifically, I could share that syllabus with you, but please don't share it with anybody else. That would go directly to Parker. Um, there is a course description on our Accelerate website just to kind of get a broad overview of what is discussed in the class. It's not going to go in depth to these are the different functions and formulas like the syllabus would. But yes, Parker, we can get that shared to you. Mhm. I did also want to mention, Christy and I shared in the chat both the AP course equivalency for Baylor specifically. You can look and see these are the different AP courses that you have taken. This is what you need to score on the exam. And then the Baylor equivalent course that you would earn credit for. And then Christy shared the equivalent course tool where you can check your dual enrollment course, see if there's an equivalent course at Baylor that you would earn credit for with that. And you can check outside institutions as well.
And that actually goes to a question in the Q&A that says the Calc 1 course, is that what level of calculus? Is it harder than AP Calc BC or would it be the equivalent to AP Calc? AP Calc BC typically covers Calc 1 and 2. I think in my experience, that
Yeah,
may be
so I think
different.
it's AB, right?
AB would be Calc 1.
Yes.
Yes, AB is Calc 1 and then BC is Calc 1 and 2.
So if you've taken pre-calc, then you would be able to take the calculus course. If you've taken AP Calculus BC, I probably would say not to take calculus because it would be repetitive. There's a question about the withdrawal policy. And certainly as you talk to your counselor, one of the things that they're going to tell you is like, obviously that you're signing up for a college course. And so you want to take that as seriously as possible. And, we want you to sign up if it's something that you're interested in taking, but we also, take withdrawals pretty seriously and is not something that we like to see happen on a regular basis. So I think it's usually, I can't remember, is it the first, there's like a drop date where you have to drop
Yeah.
the course by, or else it goes on it'll impact obviously your college transcript and all of
Yeah,
that.
we have a window of time and I definitely send that out to students, make sure that they know when that window is. So there is the window of time starts on like day 12, I think, of the class, or of the semester, and goes through like day 50 or so. Don't quote me on those, but I will let you know what those dates are during the spring semester. But it is a window of time where if you happen to drop during that window, you would have a W on your transcript if you decided to withdraw. So that just shows an attempt to the course, but you did not finish the class. And then there are some financial implications. The longer you stay into a course, then the less money you'll be reimbursed. And so that gets, we try to bill Laurel Springs a little bit later to make sure that we do not have any of those kind of conflicting dates and when people have paid and those kind of thing. But just know that there's implications there too. So just always make sure you ask us, especially at Baylor, we're familiar with those policies and stuff. You can always reach out to us. But then after the deadline, whatever you earn in the class, or after that withdrawal period, whatever you earn in the class is what's going to show up on your transcript.
I did want to mention, because there was a question about calculus BC, if you've taken like AP pre-calculus, for example, or just pre-calculus through Laurel Springs, there is an additional qualifying measure to sign up for Baylor's calculus. So even though you've taken pre-calculus, we would either need SAT scores, ACT scores, or you can take our ALEKS placement exam to qualify for Calc 1. So even though you've taken pre-calculus, that doesn't mean I can automatically place you into calculus. We have to have the scoring measures from either your standardized test or the ALEKS exam for me to then place you in calculus.
This is how many dual enrollment courses can I take? Is there a limit to the number of courses I can take? So as we mentioned, as part of your tuition, we will cover one course per year for our traditional Laurel Springs students, and we cover two courses per year for our academy students. If you want to take above and beyond that, it has to be in conversation with your counselor, and it also would be an additional cost to you as a family. I would say, as Christy mentioned, like the courses tend to look a little bit differently. So I would recommend, if you haven't taken them before, maybe starting with one course and then seeing how that fits for you and whether you might want to take more in the future before you kind of load up on them, just so that, because it is your college transcript and kind of starts your future out now, wanting to just make sure that you're kind of easing into it instead of kind of, going whole hog to begin with, and then, figuring it out from there. So that would be my recommendation. Lots of good questions. All right. Look at that. All the new things. Beautiful. All the answers. Awesome. Oh, East Coast student, can you take Baylor dual enrollment classes? Yep, any student. So the question is, the student is on the East Coast, can they take Baylor or only Syracuse? It's completely up to the student and the family. The Baylor and Syracuse offer different courses. They also offer the course composition is a little bit different. There are, some of the courses are, as Christy mentioned, asynchronous on kind of a more delineated timeline, whereas Syracuse's are a little bit shorter. They have 2 8-week windows. So my recommendation again would be to look at the courses for Baylor, attend the presentation next week for Syracuse, look at those courses, look at the timelines, the days that they're offered, and make a decision from there in terms of which is going to be a better fit for your family. Both are exceptional programs, and we've had students who love both of them, and so I would say it really just depends on the courses that are going to be the best fit and the maybe times that, if the course meets, that work best for your family. Okay, the cumulative GPA required for dual enrollment is 3.7. Is that weighted or unweighted? I believe it's unweighted.
I believe that's correct too. That's what I've
Yeah.
always worked with, is unweighted
Yeah, so it's an
GPA.
unweighted 3.7.
Yeah.
And I would say one of the interesting ones is to take a look at is there's a geometry prerequisite for a lot of courses. So that is one that sometimes people catches people off guard.
And it says for what grades. So I mean, I take it that, that means you're saying for what years. I would want that to be for all high school um,
Yeah.
years that are included on your transcript. If there's some reason that, maybe there was an unusual semester that really negatively affected your cumulative GPA, have that conversation with your student's counselor and we can look into it. But yeah, we're looking for 3.7, ideally unweighted over the course of your student's high school transcript.
All right. I sang my Jeopardy theme song. I didn't see anything else come through. Oh, um, so I think we are good to go. If you do have a question, as I said, Christy put their email address in there, but definitely reach out to your counselor as well. We're happy to answer any additional questions that you have. But appreciate everybody joining us today, and thank you to Christy and Mary for joining us today and sharing all about Baylor and the awesome opportunities that we have with y'all through Accelerate. So have a fantastic Wednesday afternoon, and yeah. Enjoy the beautiful weather. It's a beautiful day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.